Hi Cancers, and welcome to your May reading, so transition of Taurus. So let's see what is in store for you. We're going to check one oracle card at the beginning and the second one toward the end of your reading. So if you guys are not a subscriber and you like what you hear, if there are messages that come through for you, please subscribe. Or also I'm going to have at one point on the screen like social media where you can also get your daily dose of tarot. So you guys have fire. There is like some kind of like passion coming through, and this is like one of those things that actually made us into kind of like being able to use something, because we as a, let's say, animal, we don't have that many strengths. We don't run very fast, we don't jump very high, we are not great basically diggers of some sort, but like we have been given a brain that actually can get all of these things to be done in a great way. So fire was basically one of those things that kind of like was pushing us into the new direction. But in this particular picture, we see a ceremony, right? It is that ancient ceremonial fire dance that is like from Samoa. And this is about igniting the passion of warriors before battle, right? And fire can, inspire other passions. Like we speak of being on fire or catching fire, phrases when we kind of like signify that kind of like really want to be enthusiastic about something, right? So no wonder that passion is really associated with fire. So Cancer, what are your passions? What turns you on? And this month you have to go and pull in what ignites that inner flame, some kind of creativity, some kind of creative spark. Maybe you have felt that you're devoid of passion, and it's going to be thinking about, hey, what is missing in your life, right? So again, talking about fire, like you have to figure out what is fire in your belly, or did you have absence of fire in your belly, something that really makes your heart beat faster, and maybe that quickens your breathing. Like it's exciting thing. It is kind of like this time that we all have been pulled from this mouse race and rat race sorry, where we actually really putting things in perspective. So this is like where we are all changing from that 3D to 5D, and the 4D is going through hard. And this is basically what I see, that activation coming here for you. So passion is really not something that comes from outside of you, even though it can be triggered by some kind of like outside events. But this is really what is really quietly experienced or really enthusiastically expressed. And we know there's like nothing sexier than passionate Cancer, right? So it's going to be a month of strong feelings or very powerful sensations, and it's going to be something that is going to motivate you to act. Don't think of this just in terms of sexuality. Yeah, this is certainly one way of experiencing it, but there are limits, and limits would not serve you right, because it would just eliminate all of these broader possibilities. So you need to open yourself to the truth of what you're passionate about, and you need to find means to express it. So let's now just do the tarot, and let's see what else I can see here coming up in a store for my Cancers. So Cancers for Taurus transition. Cancers. And you have Earth Tome. Let's see which one is the first major. We are going to Grace, or the Temperance over here. And so this is really important here for me. So this is really telling me about some kind of protectiveness. Cancers generally feels comfort level within the family, and you are like not only the sign that protects others, but you also want to be protected. It is very important for you to kind of be in the situation. To me, this is also the card of major connectivity of how things are really working out. Some people spent most of their lives in the clouds, if you wish, right, up in the air, thinking how things should be, but not really grounding down enough to put anything in practice, and actually maybe a realization that these lofty ideas are not necessarily doable or take much longer, or they're impractical, whatnot. This is to me really a sign of practicality, and it's also a sign of a great friendship, of loyalty, of kind of like pulling through some difficult situation. This is also telling me that, look, it's very similar. There's like this walkway through the ditch over here, and here Kitty through the water, and there is like this rainbow, something really good happening out of maybe a situation that is not maybe positioned to be great. So again, it's kind of telling me that very ordinary things for you are going to bring extraordinary results, and that's going to be extremely important. So the first card that you have is Fire Queen. Ta-da, 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 ta-da. Fireworks. So there's like something, guys, that you are really activating. Whether or not, for some of you, it could mean that a close friend is going to become something more. That for many, many years, you had somebody who has been there for you through thick and thin, but you really didn't see much more than that. And now there's sparks happening. This also can be a card about, it can be a studious card as well, but I'm more like seeing like entrepreneurial card. Maybe some of you are venturing out, realizing that there's like something you can do. This is especially going to be for the people who got laid off in this particular situation, where almost like you're making yourself you're giving a promise to yourself, saying, I'm not going to be never going to find myself in this situation, and I'm going to be independent. Because this is not only independence, but like really believe in what you're doing and how you're progressing it further. Talking about fire, we have fire everywhere. Also, this is telling me don't go overboard. Be careful that you kind of cover all the angles. Be careful that they're like not tricky things and you're not going to get yourself in a boo-boo, that kind of stuff. And just you need to realize that every single venture is connected with a certain amount of risk. And this is something that is better to be prepared to be able to take shelter if something happens. Or this again boils down to, hey, if poo-poo hits the fan, right, I will be sheltered, with this kind of way of thinking that you're actually going on this new venture. And then we have death. Like, what a sad card. Look at this. All of these 9 lives are lifting, not only one. But imagine the energy coming through and everything that has been absorbed in all these 9 lives. This really tells me that something that has been cannot continue to be. Like something that has been either influencing your life or that you have been saddled with now is losing that power, and it has to stop. This doesn't mean that something else is not going to replace it. In fact, it really means that, which means that some maybe other person is coming to the fore in your life, that some other situation is coming, but it's going to make you feel a little bit retrospective, maybe even a little bit sad, because it's going to feel like a finality. But that finality is really needed in order for you to move forward, and kind of like destiny asking you to involve in this fire in the belly. Sometimes it feels like we are stuck in a situation and that situation is pulling us in, but this is really talking about this release and going to that energy that is really in your highest good. So more fire. So you're like really almost like waking up. I should probably call this video Snow White is waking up kind of a thing, right? It's a fire kitten. There's like something that you have been already testing. You have been testing the boundaries, but check it out. If it's going to look at the tail, caught on fire. Now the little kind of like paw is going to get burned. So you do know that things have been progressing. So this was like very much testing the waters, where now it's going to be full blown, you're just jumping in. So I think that I really don't need to stress out too much that things can go wrong, but when the things go wrong, you're like pretty certain you can handle them. So it's not something that, you know, you're not going to take on as a challenge. So what is above you is a 10 of sky. Now you have these two tens, and this 10 is very much like the death card. It's the ending of some sort, right? The kitty is cornered. There is like a rain and thunder coming, which is something the cats cannot really take. This poor thing is missing an eye, and the tail is broken, and it's just like simply, this is not going to end well. Well, Ten of Sky is really talking about people who possibly betray us, people who basically shouldn't be close to us, but they have been close to us. Maybe this is what you are deciding, that the price to be around these people is just simply too high, and that you just can't and won't tolerate or be willing to go forward with that. What is like over here is Nine of Fire. So this is just the scene before this. Fire, fire, fire. You guys are on fire. So you see, here was like this meeting and contemplation of the things, and then firecracker exploded and everybody had to kind of like run for the cover. So this came here reversed, which means that maybe some of you have been going through some personal battle, and that can be emotional, it can be medical, that it was affecting your health, it could be also financial. And there is like this realization that someone is not going to change, and that you are just simply wasting your time. And this is really telling me that there is like this overall feeling that you need to give up something. And even though you don't want to give up, at the same time, realization is that there's like no choice. You just have not any other option. So you are actually almost like welcoming this new process as a way of new start, knowing, hey, you know what, I tried so much. I tried, I'm motivated, I was working on it, I was present, but maybe I just cannot revive this anymore. And I really feel that some of you have been betrayed, and have been betrayed by people who you trusted the most. So this is your house, how you feel, and it's reinforcing it, right? It's reversed, Three of Pentacles. So here we see the collaboration. Hey, you know, let's get this bug together, but it's reversed. So they're going to prefer to attack each other and kind of like fight who is going to do it, and then bug basically escapes. So sometimes, you know, divide and conquer is basically the thing, and maybe this is what was happening. This also tells me that maybe some of you have been dealing with a third-party situation where, you know, you felt that somebody took advantage of you emotionally. And I think what basically most people don't realize, that given that you're such a sensitive sign, and looks like that you have given quite a bit of your fire, and this is what we see, you kind of got burned to somebody else, that somebody really betrayed that vulnerability and that trust, and didn't want to build something that has been promised to you, and you have been following that star and that hope, and it's becoming very evident that that's not going to happen. So you need to kind of like go into that self-protection mode where you're saying, okay, you know what, this is it, but if I go further, I am going to be so hurt that I'm not going to be able to pull myself out. So this is like recognition of your own limitations and what you can do. But you're also pulling yourself out right in time that you can still activate yourself to go in a completely new direction, because there is like somebody here showing up, right? There's like somebody there being there for you. So your environment is moon. Whether or not you have a Pisces person in your life, or you might have a Scorpio, or actually water prevalent over here, But that seems to be very tricky proposition this particular month. It could be somebody in your life who is super jealous, and because of jealousy they are doing crappy things. They are maybe provoking, they are maybe instigating, asking too many questions, and you're just wondering where is this coming from. And just like this misjudgment and this mistrust is really coming across to you as something that it just like really shouldn't be, and that's not healthy, and as such it really shouldn't be something that is even on a menu, and that's going to be addressed. It also could be that you feel that somebody has that ability to almost like look at you like almost like an x-ray, or that could be you that you're seeing through somebody, right? But it's going to be a tricky situation. It could be that somebody is saying one thing but they're doing another, so you will really have to watch that other people's actions are matching their words, because if they don't, I really would be alert, because then boo-boos can happen. So it's going to be very, very important for you to open 4 eyes, right? Then we have your hopes and dreams, and we have the floating cat. I really think you're going out of your way to try to figure out how to wiggle in the situation and how to be in a situation to an extent that you're sacrificing something in your way, but not to a point that it would be complete disaster for you, because I really feel that this is not the first time, especially if there is a person that you already have in mind, that you have been going down the road of you engage yourself and they just pull you down, and they basically, you are there for them, you do things for them, but when it's their turn, they're nowhere to be seen. You've been in that story before, and some of you guys basically took a big loss, and it was kind of like a long climb up. So this stage you're like really careful, because just like this kitty is going to try to have a soft landing and kind of like land on its feet. And this is ending in the Hermit. There is like certain wiseness in the situation. It is really interesting. You have 9s and you have 10s dominating. So it's like a 9 and 9 and 9 and 10 and 10 in this reading, which tells me that there is like this transition of something finishing and something new starting. That something new that is starting is going to be so freaking powerful for you, where, as I said, it's going to be creating something extraordinary. You have been suppressed, you have been subdued, and now it is the time for you kind of like to really move in a new direction, and you will know that this is the right answer. I mean, there's like still going to be some parts this month that is going to feel like tricky and, hey, am I doing the right thing? But by the end of the month, you're going to feel absolutely certain and absolutely happy that everything is going forward. Also, guys, there are a few cards in tarot. Like Fool's Journey pretty much talks about God and his journey in this 3D dimension, but there are like few specific cards in major arcana that really speak about God, and that will be the Fool, the Hangman, and the Hermit. So you don't have the Fool, but you have the Hangman and you have the Hermit over here. So the angels and spirit is with you in this particular time, and this is the protection that you need to know that you can count on. So tune in your meditation, tune in your dreams, tune in to see other coins that you're going to see around, or tiny little feathers, maybe like not bigger than that, you will find in corners. Possibly I'm picking up on your bedroom. You might also find some old letters that are going to be sending you certain messages, and you will smile when you read it, and you will say, okay, that's what I needed to hear, that's correct, and that's the direction that I'm going into. So what you have here is perfection. Oh boy, would that be you. That could be you, or that could be Virgo. So this is really talking about this lady, and it's kind of interesting. If you look at this picture here, there is like a smaller picture over here, right? That is little voice inside of us. There is really talking about the lady who will always tell the truth, right? So sometimes, readers say, let's not sugarcoat things. Yeah, sure, I can tell you as it is, but I will also apply diplomacy, because sometimes I need to say things that I see, and like just saying ha 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 ha, so he's going to leave you. That's brutality, that's ridiculousness, right? But this is lady who actually did exactly that. She was not mocking things, but if you were like, for example, you know, she was hard on herself as well, and because she was hard on herself, she felt, you know, that she can speak truth at all times, believing that she is okay, such as your child is overweight and you need to do something. But she made others uncomfortable, and the others avoided her. So finally she realized that she's lonely, and so she did go and ask advice of her teacher, and they told her exactly that honesty without kindness is cruelty. So now, maybe understanding this and even feeling ashamed of her actions, that vulnerability is now allowing her to see the beauty in others as well as in herself. So I don't know, Cancer, if somebody treated you with cruelty, or if you set standards for yourself that are just simply way too high. Maybe you're just being too hard on yourself, and maybe because of that you're kind of hard on the others, or that's basically the feedback that you're getting. So, you know, make sure that you are not alienating others, or if you're getting the such feedback that you, and this is also about a card about getting this feedback, hearing what they are hearing, experiencing what they are experiencing, connecting on that level of empathy. And also this what we had, the Knight of Pentacles, it's really telling me that you really need to connect with your friendships. You need to go in a certain level of acceptance. It's going to be about uniqueness, and it's going to be about transformation ahead, where you're going to be preparing yourself to have a really special way of attracting love, because we need to get to this level in order to truly understand how just our presence affect other people around us. So this is for May, my dear Cancers. I also have astrology for May, which is more universal, but just stay a few more seconds and it's going to appear here on the right of you, so you can check this one out. And lastly, guys, just as I said, please join my social media. It's also here, so that way you can get your daily dose. And if you want a reading with me, contact me at cattarot.ca, or you can write to me, and my email is down in the description. Have a wonderful month. I love you, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Wish you all the best.